Hello, friends. I'm Jared Buss, the assistant pastor at Olivet New Church, and I want to talk to you for a moment about our purpose here on this earth, or our real work as human beings. What it is that is at the heart of our lives, if you will. And that quite possibly sounds like sort of a ridiculously lofty thing, something that we don't need to be spending a lot of time dwelling on right now, especially if we're busy dealing with the coronavirus pandemic or any number of other things going on in our lives. But the reason I'm talking about this is because I think it's actually a very powerful thing to remember, especially when there are things going on in our lives that seem to take options away from us, like this pandemic. Whenever things don't go the way we want, or whenever we can't do some of what we wish we could do, or what we think we ought to be able to do, it's powerful to go back to the thing that is truly at the heart of our existence, our presence in this world as human beings. People sometimes talk about our purpose like we're here to make a difference, or we're here to leave a legacy. We're here to do something big enough to be remembered. And that kind of thinking is stressful, right? Because there's a really good chance that we're not going to leave a legacy, or, that our legacy will be forgotten in short order. So if that's the kind of thinking we have about our purpose, then failure becomes a very real possibility, and the power to do what we're supposed to do is something that can be taken away from us. But what I would submit to you is that our purpose as human beings is simply to make the right choice in each and every moment in which we find ourselves, or to learn to make the right choice, whatever it is that lies before us. To learn to do what is wise and loving, whatever we're confronted with. And that could sound as though it's sort of all about us, all about us making our choices. But of course, the right choice means the choice that brings joy to other people. The right choice means the choice that brings health to the world. The right choice is the wise and loving choice. And like I was indicating, the power of that way of thinking is that freedom to choose cannot be taken away from us. Circumstances very easily get totally out of our control. And this pandemic is the perfect example. Totally out of everyone's control. Nobody wanted this. And yet, as bad as the coronavirus gets, and even if it were to get 10 times worse, our ability to choose to do the best we could never be taken away from us. There's a story from the Bible that I want to look at now. And this is from the book of Micah, and it starts out with someone talking about or wondering what they can do that's good enough, what they can do that's big enough or grand enough. And the way they phrase that question is, what could they give to God that would be satisfying? What gift could they bring that's good enough for God? And so we read, "With what shall I come before the Lord, and bow myself before the high God? Shall I come before him with burnt offerings, with calves a year old? Will the Lord be pleased with thousands of rams, with 10,000 rivers of oil? Shall I give my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for the sin of my soul?" And so that starts to get a little hyperbolic toward the end. Shall I give the Lord 10,000 rivers of oil? Shall I give him my firstborn? And the point is that if we're worrying about being able to do something big enough or significant enough. It's really easy to feel that it's never good enough. But this reading carries on. He has shown you, O man, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you but to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God? What does the Lord require of you but to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God? That's what's asked of us, to seek in every moment of our lives to do what is just, to do what is merciful or compassionate, and to have humility. And that can never be taken from us. No matter how bad things get, our freedom to make the right choice, to strive to do the best we can, is always there. And that's a really empowering thing. And that, I think, is part of the reason why pandemics and disasters and other things like that are allowed to happen. And as I said in a previous video, God never wants bad things to happen. They're merely permitted, merely allowed, unwillingly as it were. And I think one of the reasons why they're permitted is that they can't actually touch the heart of our lives. They cannot take away from us the really important stuff that we're here to work on, the most important stuff. And of course that doesn't mean that we're not allowed to wish that the pandemic were over, or that we could go to the park, or any number of things. Of course we can wish that circumstances were different, and I'm sure we all do. But there's comfort to be found in remembering that what we're really here to do is always right in front of us, moment by moment, to make the right choice now, and now, and now. So I wish you peace, and I wish you courage as you carry on.